Patrick with the Concrete Marketers, and today I just want to explain in simple terms, very high level, how the search works and why it's important. So I know there's probably a lot of marketing companies out there that don't focus on local search. What they want to do is they want to focus on Facebook ads or PPC, which is pay-per-click ads. So those are great and they have their place, but the lion's share of leads is really in the local organic area. So why is this important? Well, when somebody really wants something, they go to Google. That's the way it works, right? We can see from what I have on my screen here, 46% of the 8.5 billion searches that happen every day are local, right? So this is why local SEO is so important. You can see 76% of people check reviews and 28%. So basically 1 out of 4 people, they make a purchase within a day. And I understand in concrete, maybe that's not true as much, but the point of this is that when people search this way, they have a lot of buyer intent. They're searching Google and they're calling companies on Google because they want something handled and they want it taken care of now, right? If your water heater goes out, you're not going to go on Facebook and browse around and Home Advisor. You want someone there as quickly as possible. You go to Google and you see who can get there. And just like we read here, we probably check the reviews to see if this is a legit company. Okay, so if we looked at like where does Google profit come from? So advertising revenues, 77%, almost 78% come from ads. So if you think about, Google is one of the most profitable companies in history, and 3/4 of their budget, 3/4 of their profit is coming from ads. So these are the ads, right? I have the search here, concrete company, Austin, Texas. So if I search for concrete company like this, it's going to lead to a lot of flat work, right? Driveways and stuff like that. That's how people search for that. But we have the Google guaranteed section up here. So this is part of what's contributing to that revenue. This section, and this is the Google ads. So we have Google guaranteed. So this works on a pay per lead. And this can be a good area, right? Good stuff can come through here. This I think is not as good. This works on pay per click. So this, Google's going to charge you if they think it's a lead, and you can dispute this. And fortunately, it's not like, Angie's or Home Advisor that have that reputation of, hey, it's really hard to get your money back, right? They'll work with you on that. So that's good. This area is really, there's a lot of reviews that, let me rephrase that. Reviews are going to play a factor in how we show up and how often we show up in here. So there's a lot of fine tuning you can do in this area to improve things. The good thing about this area is you can turn it on right away. But if you don't have reviews, you probably won't show up. Unlike down here, we can turn it on right away and we can start paying money. And when someone clicks on this, it will eat into our daily budget. As we move down, this is the most important area. So if we said like, hey, the total of these two is probably about 20% of the people are clicking on it, depending on what is showing up in other parts of the search. So these guys may not always be here, right? But this is going to get somewhere between 50 and 70% of the clicks. That's what the research shows us. This has a lot of different names. It's the Google Maps, the Google My Business. Some people call it the map pack. So some people just call it the Google listing. Regardless of what you call it, this is the most important area to show up if you're a local business. So how do we get inside here? Well, we can set something up and do a verification through the back end of Google. And then once we do that, we have the ability to show up in here. Now you won't show up in here unless you're getting like reviews and this type of stuff. Moving down here, we have the organic section. So we have this whole area is organic. So there's like organic versus paid, right? So this is paid, but we call this the Google My Business. They call this the organic listing section. So if I had to rank these, this is how I would rank it. This would be the number 1 spot to show up in this first spot. This is number 2, and this is number 3. And then down here would be 4, 5. And then I'd probably come back up to the Google guaranteed. And then finally right here. So you don't have to be limited to showing up in one of these. One of the things that will influence your ranking in here is your ranking down here. So this is all about your website, and this is your Google map listing. So if we click into one of these, we can kind of see what this looks like. Maybe you guys have seen this. Maybe you guys have this set up for yourself. So there's a lot that can go into the ranking of this. The way this works though, I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can kind of draw on this a little bit and explain this. So it's kind of like an antenna, right? So we set one of these things up. Say we have a house or an office, and that's where it is. It's inside of that red circle there. And it's kind of like an antenna when we set this up. Our rankings in this area will change dramatically as we move across town, right? So if we just like took a step back over here, if I did a search where I'm at right now and I went a mile down the road, the order and what is showing up here will change dramatically. And you'll rank best near where you set up your location, wherever that address is. Okay. So your antenna might be pretty small, but as you get more reviews, your antenna gets taller. As you build out your website, your antenna gets taller. And as that antenna gets taller, your visibility of where you can show up will get bigger, right? That's kind of how that works, right? So this is why you build out a strong website. This is why reviews are important. There's a lot of other things that will go in to making this antenna be taller. And I will take you over and kind of show you an example of this. We are inside of a tool here where we can evaluate the rankings of this company. That's that Ace Concrete company that we were just looking at, right? So if we came back here, this Ace Concrete Contractors. So we have them plugged into our tool here, right? Ace Concrete Contractors. And we put in the search term Austin Concrete Company. We know that's going to be a term that's going to lead to business for them. And then we have a map of Austin over here. So if I open this up and I'll just expand it and zoom in. So basically what this map is telling us is that at this location right here near Westlake Hills, they're showing up first. So that means if someone were standing right there and they search for Austin Concrete Company, that Ace Contractors would show, or Ace Concrete Company is going to show up first. And then over here, they're fifth. And then over here, they're seventh and they're fourth. So once you know this, you can start to employ strategies to move things in this area. If we go back and we look at the rankings that we were looking at, there's only 3 spots here, 1, 2, and 3. So that's why in this tool, the top 3 are green. And after that, they start to turn yellow, right? If you're not green, you're not going to show up at all, right? So you've got to be in that top 3. So what we can do further is we can go through here and we can look and say, hey, who is number 1? Well, it's these guys, Ace, right? What this tool is doing now is it's saying, who is showing up in the top 3 the most of all the companies, right? So if we looked at one of their competitors, we'll look at this company called RTX. We'll click on this and we can kind of see they're not as green. They're not showing up as well, right? That's why in our tool, Ace is ranked higher than them. And what we can do is we can reverse engineer them. We can go in and look at RTX and see where there's opportunity for improvement. But that's how the search results work. So we have the different sections here. Most important one is this one. These are ones that once you stop paying, you set a budget. Once you stop paying, it's over. You're not going to show up in these areas. Whereas if you build this in, not only do you get more searches and more, like this is 2 to 3 times more traffic than up here. This you're not paying for each one, right? This is why in building out the SEO and setting these listings up correctly has so much value. This is how concrete empires have been built in cities, multi-million-dollar companies, from dominating this area and dominating this area down here, and then supplementing it potentially with the stuff up here. Different people click in different areas, so showing up on all these spots is best, but this is where the lion's share of it is, right here and right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope this helps you target the different parts of the search for your guys' concrete companies. Thanks a lot.